Good morning. Good morning, people of the fellowship. I am so pleased to welcome you on this beautiful spring morning to our celebration of the Flower Communion, its 100th anniversary, and the celebration as well of our second and third graders who have worked hard in their participation for this service. And as we went to one service today, we're learning a lot, obviously. There are still just a couple of folks who had to park in one of the gravel lots, and they're making their way in, and we are getting more chairs so everybody can sit down. What a great problem to have. What a great problem. Good morning and welcome, and I'm going to invite our new music director, Michael Rosen. Welcome, Michael. He's here this morning just getting some of the music onto the piano and learning it. And so it's great to have him here, and we will have a chance to get to know you better here over the years ahead. So grateful. And if you would begin our gathering music, Michael. Good morning. I'm Joel Miller. I'm the interim minister. So pleased to welcome this very full meeting room of people this morning and welcoming our folks who are online as well. This flower communion is celebrated in thousands of Unitarian Universalist and Unitarian Universalist congregations across the globe. And those celebrations typically happen in May and June. And this 100th anniversary of the flower communion, which was first celebrated in Prague 100 years ago. This is also an important day because our second and third graders have begun the practice of Unitarian Universalism specifically, and it is built around the story of the flower communion and the minister of the congregation in Prague who helped create the flower communion, Norbert Čapek. Our second and third graders have worked and studied hard this year. They have studied the physical, emotional, and spiritual practices of being aware of others and how to understand better how they are in the world with others. The central story is this story of Norbert Čapek and the flower communion. I would like now to call the children in our second and third grade class up to the chancel as we begin our service. Nadia Adams, Vanessa Adams, Seema Alonso, Parker Devlashauer, Emerson Franklin, Sloan Kriha, Kyle Crone Bejerano, Naomi Mangles, Magnolia McNamara, Sadie Myers, Ethan Ning, Brendan O'Byrne, Alice B. Petershek, Addison Walker, Charlotte Walwork.
There are many words that we use in Unitarian Universalism to light our chalice. On our regular services, we say the same thing every week. We know it by heart. In our RE classes, we say something a little bit different. Our RE kids who are here know the words, and these kids know the words, and some of our teachers even know the words without me printing out things for them. And we say it every week. And so we are going to share with them as we light our chalice. But before they do that, I want to share with everyone, our chalice is the symbol of our faith. All faiths usually have some kind of icon for them, and ours is the chalice. It was chosen by the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee during World War II. While doing good work, they were aiding refugees escaping from war-torn Europe. It acted as a beacon of hope, human compassion, and a witness to those who are offering our flower communion, who are suffering. Our flower communion children will share the words that they use in their classroom each Sunday. So, will you guys stand up? And because we do these in our children's classroom, there's also motions to them. So our kids are going to do it. Now, I'm going to need some help lighting our chalice. And so I'd love to see if there's any one or two other RE kids who would like to come up. All right, Alice, I see your hand. Yeah, come on up. Come here. You want to light with me? Come on. Yeah, come on up. Yeah, sure, why not? You raise your hand. You're not even, yeah, that's fine. Everyone's welcome in our RE program, whether it's your first time or your last time. So, oh, you're going to do it too? Okay, all right. All right, so we got our people. Okay. So, we're going to say the words together. You guys are going to do the motions, and then we're going to make the grown-ups do it with the motions, okay? All right, ready? We light this chalice at the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. We are the fellowship of the open mind, the loving heart, and the helping hands. Together we care for our earth and work for peace and justice in the world. All right, now that you know the motions and the words, let's do it all together. Ready? We stand up. They're still going to need help. They don't know them perfectly. We light this chalice. Here. Yeah, can you light this one? Right there. There we go. good. You guys can sit down. Thank you guys for helping very much. All right. Thank you, thank you. You guys can go sit back down with your families, and we'll carry on.
I want to add one more story this morning. In addition to the story about Norbert Chopik, this is a story that comes from the Jewish tradition. And on a day in which we're celebrating the flower communion, it seems most appropriate to be telling stories from many traditions. This morning, a story from Judaism, the Jewish religion. Once, there was a young man who was confused, struggling, because he'd been talking with some friends, and his friends had been telling him about the paradise that they had in their religion. And maybe he should change religions because they had paradise. He didn't want to change his religion, but he did want paradise. And so he went to his rabbi, the teacher in his religious community, and said, Rabbi, I've been talking with my friends. They're telling me about paradise. Where is our paradise? Is it in the sky? No, said the rabbi. Well, is it in the flowers? Well, said the rabbi, not exactly. Is it in us? Not exactly, said the rabbi. Where is our paradise? And the rabbi, she knelt down onto the ground, and she took up a handful of earth, and she said, here is our paradise. And he was very frustrated. He said, but Rabbi, dirt? Dirt? She cleaned her hands off. She said, this. She took his face. This is our paradise. I'll explain a little more about that later. This is our paradise. We have a special song at this point, and so I believe at this time is when we are going to ask everyone to take their place here on the chancel. This song is entitled Special by Jeffrey Moss.
Nobody's eyes are
Our flower altar is much like our meeting room this morning. It's very full, and it's hard to find a space for everything. There we go. Thank you, Barbara. And I'll reach around and try not to set myself on fire. In these milestones and passages, which the adults do every Sunday, often after you've left for classes, we remember how important it is to be together, how important it is to share our lives, how important it is to find that paradise I spoke of, how we are connected with and important to one another. Often the milestones we bring, we just carry them quietly in our heart, and we feel a sense of help just because we're with our community. But sometimes it's important to share them. One of the practices we're beginning today are gratitude cards. And I'll speak to you more about gratitude cards in the weeks to come, but gratitude is a great spiritual practice, a great way to begin a spiritual practice. If you don't know what to do in a moment that seems kind of hard or kind of joyous, gratitude. It's a great way to start out if you're not sure what to do. This special candle this morning is for one of the founding members of this fellowship, Alfred Matheson, known as Fred. He died on March 6th in North Carolina. He and his wife, Dorothy Faulkner Matheson, were the first members married after the fellowship got started in October of 1955. They didn't get to be married in a building. We didn't have one yet. And they didn't want to marry in the YMCA where we were meeting at the time. So the building they went to was the Summit Unitarian Church, just down the road from here. Dorothy died in December of 2022. Fred, who was born in Norway, came with his family to the United States in 1928. And he was an Apollo missions engineer. He helped design and develop the rockets for the lunar lander. I'm kind of geeky about things like that. That's very cool. And this is our tradition. I light this special candle for him today, for Fred Matheson, who was a beloved member of this congregation. An important milestone and passage yesterday was the dedication of Anthony Saverio and Angelo Rasiopi, sons of AJ and Danny Rasiopi. Yesterday was also a difficult day for some folks. Yet again, shootings, this time in Texas. Our prayers, our thoughts, our meditations, the practice of our faith is that someday this will never happen, and that we shall not live by the promises, the empty promises of violence, but by the promises of love and by the promises of what these people, these young people, offer us in the future. Gratitude this morning, first for the drag story hour that happened here yesterday. It was a wonderful success. It was a joyful spirit. It was so well organized by our Director of Religious Education, Nick Walwork. Thank you, Nick. Well, a job well done. Very grateful for that. And as it turns out, by a special quirk of New Jersey law, because there's no sidewalks along the fellowship, I hear protesters had to protest about half a mile away somewhere. Oh, well. And one last joy was the comedy hour yesterday. Rita and Drew and Christine and David, thank you. It was a delightful, joyful, funny time. It's a congregation full of life and love and all justice and friendship. Let us be grateful for all that we have and the promise we have in the future. We have now a meditation on growing.
I'm going to be super loud here for a second. I lost my spot. All right, the children have been working on their growth as people, and so they are going to share with us how they have gotten where they are today by sharing a meditation on growing. So you guys grab your little grab your secret pops. Don't let them see them yet. Let's sneak forward. All right, and then your teachers are going to lead you. All right, there you go.
Well, what's going on here? We see changes every day to the trees, the plants, the animals. It must be the season of growing. Where do all those pretty flowers come from? They are so lovely, so colorful, so unique. Children, let's pretend for a few minutes that you are tiny seeds nestled in the earth. The warm sun has finally melted all the snow, and you begin to feel it warming your back. Now the gentle rains are here. They wash over you, and you feel refreshed. Every day, the sun and the rain take turns, and you begin to stir. How do you feel, young seeds? All of a sudden, you start to slowly wiggle in the soil. Day by day, with more sun and more rain, you sprout and reach upward. You break through the earth, young seeds. You stand in the sun and feel the rain on your face. Reach to the sky and grow. Unfurl your petals, young seedlings. Show us your lovely flower in bloom. How proud you stand, young friends. How beautiful you are. Good job, everybody. You may take your flowers. Time to sit with your parents for the offertory and for words from Reverend Joel.
In a time when it would just be so easy to automate it, do we really need to have in the worship Sunday program an offering? It's a reminder, the offering is, that our presence with one another is a gift, and that it takes resources, a place for us to meet, get the lights on, bring Nick, myself, Katie, the staff, the custodians, all of the people, Alex especially worked hard this morning. The offering today is also shared as we want to remember our larger place in the world. And so half of the offering this morning goes to the Unitarian Universalist United Nations office. Because as we celebrate Unitarian Universalism in the Czech Republic, we remember also there are Unitarian Universalists all over the globe, and that they, like us, wish to be safe and free. And it is our support of the United Nations office that helps us participate in a world that someday we hope will all be at peace. We take our offering, which today our new music director, Michael Rosen, is playing a song called Chopik's Journey.
Also, if the preschoolers want to go up to their class, now would be the time to do that too. So I just wanted to, all right.
So why did the flower communion happen? It happened in Prague 100 years ago because the minister of the Prague Unitarian Church wanted to have a ritual, a ceremony that would be welcoming of everyone. Because you see, the people in the Unitarian Church in Prague, even 100 years ago, some of them had grown up Christian, some of them had grown up Jewish, some of them had grown up Muslim, some of them had grown up in other faiths, or some of them had not grown up in any faith at all. They might not believe in a God, or they might not know what they believed in, but they were all welcome at the Unitarian Church. But what would they do together to celebrate life? That would be an experience welcoming of each and all of them. And Čapek realized, yes, we are each of us individual in our beauty, like every flower is different, unique, beautiful. What would it mean for everyone to bring a flower, something representing their own spirit, their own joy, to the common altar of a gathered people, but go home with a different one? The diversity of the flowers, like us, in our own diversity. And yet, in this array of the fruits of the earth, in this array of the blossoming of life, there's unity. The unity of beauty, of love, of a world of peace yet to come. Well, the flower communion spread all over the world, but how did that happen? Well, Norbert Čapek, like many Unitarian Universalists, had been born into actually two other traditions. Čapek's mother was Catholic. His father was part of the Moravian Church. But when Norbert Čapek was born in 1870, the Czech people did not live in a republic. They lived under an empire, the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And the emperor, the Habsburg Emperor, Franz Joseph, there was only one religion that was allowed legally, and that was Catholicism. All other religions were banned by the empire, and anybody who didn't practice Catholicism was harassed by the state. Or sometimes people would commit violence toward people, other people who didn't practice the Catholic religion. The police would stand by and do nothing. Čapek, as a child, assisted the priest of his Catholic church. Čapek loved the pageantry of Catholic worship, but he had some other experiences that weren't so good. He especially remembered that there was once a class, a Sunday school class, when a classmate had come to the class and had not read what they were supposed to have read for the class that morning, and the priest who was leading the class said to the boy who had not read the reading, "I need to give you something to remember your assignments." And then he hid the boy. That'll never happen here, I promise. So when Čapek was 12, he moved to Vienna. He moved to Austria, another part of the great Austro-Hungarian Empire, or maybe not so great in some ways. He was apprenticing to be a tailor with his uncle. In the rare moments that he didn't have to work or find time to sleep, Čapek as a teenager would visit every religious group he could. He went to Catholic church, he went to Baptist church, he went to Moravian church. He even visited a Jewish synagogue. After he'd attended so many different congregations, religious groups, he found maybe the Baptist church would work, and he began attending the Baptist church regularly. And at 17, he chose to be baptized. His aunt and uncle were so angry at him for having done that, they kicked him out. They wouldn't teach him how to be a tailor anymore. This is a big deal for Čapek to have done this, knowing he was going to get kicked out. And he worked with the Baptist church for some years, even as a teenager, 17, 18 years old. And in those years, he saw several times the home of the minister of his Baptist church was attacked. His minister was attacked several times. There was even once a group that tried to burn down the house of the minister of his church. The police came, but they did nothing, because they were the police of the empire. Chopik's theology was getting him into trouble. He found he was even getting into trouble at the Baptist church. The more he learned about religion, the less he fit in. He went to a theological school, a university, to talk with a religious scholar to try to understand what was happening about his thinking and his beliefs. And the scholar said, "Why, Mr. Chopik, you're not really even a Baptist. You are a Unitarian." He was a heretic. That's a great word. I'm going to say something about that word in just a moment, heretic. His heretical views, as they say, made him an enemy of the empire. Eventually, he got into a lot of trouble, and he had to flee. He had to go. He had to leave the empire because he was in danger, because of the police and the emperor. When he came to the United States to seek freedom, he discovered Unitarian churches, and he joined a Unitarian church. After the Austro-Hungarian Empire fell at the end of World War I, Chopik was able to go home because suddenly all of those different peoples who lived in what had been an empire, now they had the possibility of freedom. And finally, in the lands of the Czech people, it was possible to be a republic, and they became one very quickly. When Chopik went back, he started the Unitarian congregation in Prague, the Unitarian church there. You know something? It became the largest Unitarian church in the entire world within just a couple of years. They bought a big building. They'd have 800 people on a Sunday morning. People who'd grown up Catholic, people who'd grown up Orthodox Christian, people who grew up Baptist or Jewish or Muslim or atheist or just didn't know yet if or what they would believe. They were all welcome at the Unitarian Church in Prague. And that's when Norbert Chopik created the Flower Communion. The story goes on just a little more, because there was a Second World War after that First World War. And some bad guys called Nazis, they invaded what's now the Czech Republic. Soldiers came into Prague. It looked a lot like the empire had looked, maybe a little meaner. Thing about being heretics, you know. We're called heretics often as Unitarian Universalists. This word heretic, it means in the original Greek, chooser. You're a bunch of choosers. You chose to come here this morning. You choose to agree or not agree with me. And as a fellow heretic, good. You get to think it out, and you get to choose, which is the way it should be in religion. It's the way we understand from the Flower Communion. We have a choice about how we're going to be in the world. Norbert Chopik chose to give his people hope, to encourage his people, and the Nazis didn't like it, and they sent him to a concentration camp, a prison camp. It was named Dachau. And unfortunately, Norbert Chopik died there. But while he was there, Norbert Chopik remained a heretic. He remained a chooser. Nazis didn't like that. The empire didn't like that. A lot of other religions don't think we should be heretics. I'm proud to be a heretic among heretics. People who choose, as Norbert Chopik did when he was in that camp at Dachau, choosing to love life, choosing to pick up a handful of soil and find paradise, choosing to look into the eyes of the people he was with at that time and to love life and to give them hope and to live peacefully with them. This is what the Flower Communion reminds us to practice. Our heresy, this particular and unique heresy, to love the world, to love one another, to work for peace, not to choose violence, force, to demand that others conform to what we think is the one way to get to paradise. There are many ways to paradise. There are many ways to life, love, and justice. This is one of the lessons in the flower communion. We can bring the beauty. As heretics, we chose a flower this morning and brought it in. Or maybe we didn't know, or maybe we forgot to bring the flower in, and yet some of us chose to make sure there were enough flowers. Your flower still arrived. And we are all invited to go home with a different flower. We may not choose that flower in the flower communion that follows, but we can choose to look for its beauty and choose to think about the person who brought it and how we are linked together in love and hope and connection. Let us be heretics of love and peace, and let the flower communion remind us of how beautiful a way that is. I would like now to call up our children, our second and third graders. They are going to be with us here on the chancel, and we are going to have an opportunity to offer our hope and blessings to them in this song that follows. Sing this at one point, but the choir's going to sing first. And we are singing to you. We love you. We're so grateful you're here.
Check on the children as they sleep.
like to invite Paula. So even today, the Unitarian Church in Prague celebrates the Flower Communion. The minister there today, Peter Samosky, has been working with the congregation. They have started 7 more congregations in the Czech Republic, and Unitarianism is growing and flourishing there. And so these words of blessing were written by the Reverend Dr. Peter Samosky, and we're going to hear them first from Paula Petershek in Czech.
We would say in Czech, dobrý den, this is good day. So, vymenuje toho, co je svaté. Vymenuje toho, co je dobré. Vymenuje toho, co dává život. Sevšli jsme se zde, tomto místě. Vy květní připomínáte nám tu odlišnost, jednoduchost, připomněl řádu o to, že my jsme jeho součástí. Připomínáte nám krásu a harmonii rozmanitosti. Připomínáte nám, že i se ctít a vnímat a jednot v různosti a v různost jednotě. Net jeden je tvůrčí život na podíl, ta jako mezi nám vládne.
That I got to tell you is a rare treat to hear it in that Czech. Thank you. These are the words that the Reverend Peter Samosky wrote to bless these flowers. In the name of what is holy, in the name of what is good, in the name of that which gives life, we have gathered here in this place today. You, the flowers, remind us of the wonderful simplicity of the natural order, and we're part of that order. You remind us of the beauty and harmony of diversity. You remind us that one can feel and perceive and live unity in diversity and diversity in unity. Let the spirit of creative life unite us as it reigns among us. Amen. And now, if you would, class, I invite you to take a handful of flowers, 5 or 10, and congregation, the children of the 2nd, 3rd grade class are going to offer you a flower for our flower communion this morning.
Sit right now. Okay. Great. Thank you, everyone. You know, I was just reflecting on this. I'm going to interject and veer from the script and probably get yelled at by the directors at some point. But I was just reflecting on how we start our year off with our water communion and seemingly end our year with flowers. And what a wonderful visual of the cycle of the fellowship and of our religious education program. And I don't know, I just thought that was really cool. I didn't realize when we scheduled this a year ago that would have made this such a wonderful thing. So good job. Good on you, Unitarians, for figuring out a nice little symbolism. That's my little aside. All right, let's get back to script. Children, now that you have up here, you have blessed us with your song, you've shared your meditation, you have grown to be part of this community since the days your parents brought us to us. It is time for the congregation to now bless you. You have shared wonderful ideas in class. These words that you have shared are now written into a heartfelt prayer for all of us to share. So, the kids are going to come up and say their blessing. You, the congregation, are going to respond with, "Blessed are you, my children." All right? You guys got it? Should we practice it one time with the adults? We made you guys practice 100 times. All right? So, "Blessed are you, my children." All right, come on up with your teachers. Oh, no, wait. Are we doing it one at a time? That's right. I didn't practice enough. Go for it.
I feel my teeth disappear and new ones grow in their place. I see myself get taller and my cheeks don't feel as chubby.
Blessed are you, my children. All right.
I realize my actions have consequences.
Blessed are you, my children.
I'm beginning to wonder about things beyond the world, beyond my own home and neighborhood. I am starting to ask big questions.
Blessed are you, my children.
I am alive in every way. My head and my heart look out onto the world with a wonder and amazement.
Blessed are you, my children.
Do we have gifts at this time? We are going to present these children now at this time that they have completed this, their first milestone as Unitarian Universalists. It's a big moment. Welcome to each of you and all of you. You have received the opportunity to be Unitarian Universalists. Welcome. We're so grateful for you. They are receiving a certificate, and they're receiving a packet with some of the materials and the stories, and each of them is getting a pin that's a flower to remind them of this morning. And as they go to back to their families, I invite you to welcome them and applaud for them. Notice also that up here with them has been Kathy and John and Cammie and Kara. What makes Unitarian Universalism possible is the guidance we offer one another when we need encouragement, when we need learning. I'm so grateful for these Sunday school teachers. Thank you. And Barbara Stasiak, thank you so much for the beautiful ritual this morning. She did a lot of work creating this and bringing the music. And that call to Tom Chapin. Yeah, well, she just called him up at home and got the rights to the music. It's pretty cool, Barbara. Before I say the final blessing, the one written by Norbert Chopek, I just want to let you know that as our worship Sunday program ends this morning, we're moving right into the congregational meeting. Should be a very short meeting. Afterward, there's all kinds of goodies to eat. A couple of cakes celebrating this morning for the second and third graders. And our second and third graders are going to head straight out so they can be welcomed and celebrated by their families. These flowers in our hands, let us remember the spirit that comes with them this morning. As Norbert Chopek wrote, "Infinite Spirit of life, we ask your blessings on these messengers of fellowship and love. May they remind us, amid diversities of knowledge and of gifts, to be one in desire and affection. May they also remind us of the value of friendship, of doing and sharing together alike. May we cherish friendship as one of the most precious gifts. May we not let awareness of each other's talents discourage any of us or sully our relationships. May we realize that whatever we can do, great or small, the efforts of every one of us are needed to do your beautiful work in this world. Go in peace, be in peace, and we'll see you again next Sunday and next Flower Communion.